This video is brought to you in part by Elgato Capture Systems. When you think it works, it doesn't. Hello everyone, today we are playing once more with A Gummy's Life. You may question, you said again? We've played this game before? And you're right to be confused because I have no other videos based on this, but because of my fancy Elgato system, I unfortunately have to do this all over again. But that's me, that's part of Solomon rambling. So today we're going to be playing this game in a new series I have called, quite lovingly, I Can Do It Better. The whole premise around this series is to say, if I had the ability and if I had the skill to make games myself, to revise them, to do whatever I wanted to, how would I make the game better? To make it something that is, I don't know, like in the case of Gummy's Life, this is so far a 6 at best. How could we make it an 8, a real contender for multiplayer mayhem, that kind of thing. This is going to be separate from a review which focuses on criticizing the game. Really, I want to be able to show how I would take it in a new direction, so to speak. So, of course, there is chaos going on right now, and the basic premise of the game is to beat the crap at each other and either throw the other person out of the ring when they're stunned, or to knock the juice out of them completely. So I am the Picho over there, but for copyright reasons, it's not a Picho, it is an O that is Gummy, and there's a second Picho imposter. Dun dun dun. So in this one, you use the shoulder buttons, the back triggers, to punch. If you hold them too long, it's a grab. And all manner of other attacks can be used at one point. Each stage has its own hazards. Like this one, it has zombies that will devour you and turn them into one of their own kind if they catch you. And the game will go on for a length of time until all players are killed and up to 8 players can play, which is pretty darn awesome. It reminds me a lot of what Barman Super Smash Bros. Will allow. But apart from that, it's a simple game. Right from the get-go, I went through it pretty quickly at the beginning while I was complaining about other things in my life. But one of the things is the menu is atrocious. And that'd be the first thing I'd change is, for the love of God, make it somewhat appealing, because this game doesn't look bad at all. Why can't they show the same for the menus themselves? Everything's highlighted in white, which makes it very difficult to see what you're doing. And there's already been a few times where I backed out when I hadn't mean to. And that, people, is how you win a game. Infinite dabs. So as you can see, this game has mean value. It's funny for the most part. It's one of those goofy games that you can play for the first time and really get a laugh at it. I do like the basic premise, and I think the graphics are pretty solid. So there's, at its core, a good game here that is unique. Now, in terms of how do we make it better? What can we do for it? Run, Solomon! Oh, that butthead lived. First things first, we need to work on the control scheme. Oh, you. Well, he died too, so it's a tie. We'll both get points. Who's the Fuzz? Okay, Fuzz, I got my eye on you. The controls need a reworking. I think the developers intentionally made a game that was finicky to control, because that adds to the mayhem. It can be funny to a certain extent, because you have games like Katamari Damacy, or, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Oh, Human Fall Flat, that also has some difficulty in controls, but those games are inherently good. It's not that the controls are bad, they're just unique. And I don't really know the distinction between bad and unique. I would say at the end of the day, you can control both pretty easily. Like with Human Fall Flat, although it's wonky to begin with enough practice, you can control it as if it's regular controls. With this game, it's always going to feel a little off-center. That includes like the punches. Every button on this has a different function if you tap it or if you were to just hold it down. So like the B button is a dash, but if you tap it, it's a run. And that leads to some messy gameplay in the sense that, oh no, you beat me. No, I'm still alive though. That you can do moves you don't really want to do. Like the grab, for instance, is finicky in itself. I meant to grab him with both, but for some reason decided only one hand was going to register. Sometimes it grabs the ground, and that creates issues in and of itself. And there's even a button that if you hold it down too long, you will collapse as if you were KO'd briefly. And that is terrible because it's a button that is used in the game, and to do the wrong one can result in tragic consequences, such as loss or temporary deafness from the screams of your own hatred. So that's things we want to avoid. So I would simplify the control scheme, take out a lot of the functions that are not necessary, such as sliding, which I've never used to any effect in my life, and make it just streamlined. This does not need to be one of those games that is goofy to control. Make it so that you can, so it's more of a competitive game. Obviously, there's enough party elements that a casual crowd can enjoy it. But I almost do want this to be competitive level, not to the point of like a tournament per se, but something that you could, I don't know, pull out and be like, haha, I'm better than you. This is no Super Smash Bros. As it is now. Ugh. Especially with the level of variance. And each character supposedly has some type of different statuses, but you don't see him much. For trouble. Ooh. Not the cactus. He's definitely trouble, that's for sure. When it really gets to it, it's the depth of the game that really messes it up. There's an online feature, but like most indie games, there is no longer a market for it. No one's playing this right now. Not many people bought it, to my understanding. Again, that's just pulling stuff from my arse, which I'm very good at, surprisingly. But it is. It doesn't have the online market to make it functional apart from local multiplayer. And even then, I don't necessarily know if I'd want to play this online. So you have local multiplayer, which has deathmatch, team deathmatch, a hot potato mode, a kind of king of the hill. And all the modes are functional, and I think are good. And the AI, although they can be stupid, is generally, they can be tough. They put up a fight. They're not complete idiots. And we'd also address stages like this, which are kind of nauseous just to play. And you can unlock new characters, but I've never been able to do one in the 4 hours I've played this game, and supposedly have to play on hard difficulty and beat people and then later challenge the new characters a la Smash. But apart from what you see at the beginning, that's all you get. There's not a lot of stages. There's even one stage that I haven't included in the shuffle mode because 50% of the time it freezes the game, which is bad as is, as you all know. What it comes to is the strongest element of this game is its stage design. Each stage has a gimmick that makes this game really fun and chaotic in a level of, I don't know, a variability that you do want to see in a game, but there's not enough stages. So how could you maintain the game without making new stages, but do something more to add depth? And my thought is you add a high level of customization, something like you saw with Treadnoughts. Each of these stages has something that's unique. Like this one, it turns around on an axis, which makes you also want to throw up, but it also has cannons everywhere you go. So what if you were able to be on a different stage, let's say the zombie stage, and also add these cannons in? Or if we look at the other one where it's a soccer one, you can have a ball for kicks and giggles, and you have that, and later on there's even, let me try to think. Well, the stage I took out was a Frogger-like stage. So it'd be cool to have cars passing by on each stage that can take you out as well. Oh, I got hit by that cannonball. I was playing very cheaply by trying to avoid all the conflict, so I guess I deserve that. I should probably do something instead of just talk. But Solomon, that's your hallmark. I know, but sometimes I'm good at video games too. So let's continue. Also, I must remind myself to breathe occasionally because when you get to the end of a sentence and you're going, that doesn't help out too much. So the customizability that I was talking about allows you to manipulate each stage and add all the hazards that you could want. This doesn't change the dynamics of the game too much, and that's the whole point of I could do it better. If you have to change the basis of the game and add elements that weren't possible by the indie developer, you couldn't make it better. You have to imagine that you're working with their level of resources and go from there. And I think they could add that customization because it's a toggle. And again, I don't know programming, but that's why I make these videos instead of video games. And so you have that level of variability. Maybe you add more significant stats to the players, make some different controls, and allow the player to do something with the game. It's great that I have the 4 modes. I enjoy that. But I do want the opportunity to change how I play, because after a while, one of this game's downfalls is that it's fun the first time around. It's good for a laugh. You can get your friends to play. But after the first time or two, that's it. The whole entertainment value kind of just wears off because you've been there, done that. You can only dab so much before you get sick of it. And although there's some middle schoolers that would disagree with me, I hope you are not my target audience, because I say horrible, awful things in my reviews, in my videos, and yeah, I don't need to be your role model, so please go away. I have nothing against you except for the fact that you can be annoying, but that's just, that's your nature. You should have that opportunity as a young middle school child. So, for the rest of you 20-something-year-olds who I hope are watching my station because, you like the Switch and you're 20, this is what you can enjoy from the game. I didn't know where I was going with that. Kind of was on a tangent, but I've learned that those are bad for me. Kind of like most of the junk food I eat. But that is the life of the Rambler, Solomon Rambley. I think one of the difficult parts with reviewing this game, or even commenting it as I can do it better, is you notice that I'm done talking about the game right now. I've gotten the main points. You can't go into depth as you may have done with a more complex game. But for this one, oh no, goodbye Crew World. There's not much to provide. It's supposed to be a simplistic game, and that's what the developers, I think, intended, is you only have it for local multiplayer. If you're buying it for single player experience, you're probably an idiot. But, it's not meant for you. Oh, we got the ninjas, which just basically means every character is black except for the one that's actually a black character. So it gets really confusing. I'm going to go wander after them. Die, you dog bone. I don't remember any dog bone gummies in my life, but I assume they're a thing. And there is an example of that. I didn't want to grab him, but I had to because the other guy got in my way, and there's not very accurate grabbing mechanisms for this game. But this gets to a larger problem with the indie multiplayer field. There are a ton of games on the eShop right now that used to be Steam games and have positive reviews on Steam because the people that play it are the ones that enjoy it, but they also are used to playing games only 2 hours. And the common tagline with these games is, it's simple but deep gameplay. And that can be farther from the truth. Sure, the inherent concept is simple, and you could say that you could get better at it, but that doesn't make it a deep experience. You're just essentially saying that the longer you play it, the better you'll get, and that's it. So, it's not a good advertising point. At least I don't think it's a valid one. And with these games, if you don't have a single player element, I'm trying to think of a game that's purely multiplayer focused. You can think of, Overcooked. That game is meant to be played by multiple people. It's not meant for the single player. And if you are playing it by yourself, you can theoretically do so, but it's not nearly as fun of experience. Now, the way Overcooked gets away with it is they have a ton of stages that you can play as a multiplayer cohort. There's an arcade mode as well, a versus, and so there's enough content to keep you going for a while, and that you don't have to depend on a single player experience. Whereas Gummy's Life doesn't have that much content. Oh, just kill me already. Oh, this has gone on forever. No, I'm hanging by the edge. I won't die. Just kill me. Okay. Oh, I'm dead again. It doesn't have enough. Like, if it had 50 stages like a Smash game, maybe I wouldn't give it such a hard time. but that's not there. And hence why I recommend the modding capability, because maybe that will extend its shelf life for enough, so to speak. Oh, who's gonna die? Oh, I lost my juice first. Stupid fuzz. You black pickle. I was gonna go somewhere with that, but no. I'm not racist. I'm just not funny. Anyway, as we continue... Oh, we got our little clock stage. So yeah, if you have the variety, then it's good. If the characters actually mattered, then you have more depth. If there was combos you can enforce, then absolutely, you can say this is a game that is timeless, through the ages, deserving of a sequel. But as it is now, it doesn't have that. And that's very much my philosophy. You have to have one strong component, either multiplayer or single player. And if you want to add a crappy other component, then fine. Katamari Damacy comes to my mind again, and I use that as many examples because it's on my mind since I wrote a review on SolomonRambling.com. Gave it a 9.5. Anyway, it has a multiplayer component, and it's basic. It's the same stage that has some randomness to it, but apart from that, that's it. And if you're going against your buddies, you're not going to get much depth from it because one of you is going to be better. And games don't have that random nature, that kind of fuzz to allow a person who's worse to win. But it doesn't really matter that the multiplayer sucks because the single player is so enriching. And you need that to carry a game. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes is another great example. That multiplayer was trash. But Metroid was always a single player experience to begin with, except for that like DS version, Metroid Prime Hunters, which was also a joke, but for some reason people liked it. I don't know. So this is what the game's missing. And knowing that the developers may have not had the time or resources to add much to it, to add much more depth, then use what you have to new effects. I don't need a whole new game. I just need you to give me that variety. Even if you're a $2 game, like Timberman Versus, that's not a good game no matter the price. It needs to have the depth to it to make it worthwhile, the variety, everything that I've been spouting off for the past 5 minutes, so to speak. And like you can see, this stage is a load of fun. It's really awesome. Just, we need more. Oh, and I went flying for some reason. Goodbye, Solomon. Screw you, Fuzz. You're getting close to me, you dip. That's right. I held myself back. You're welcome, middle schoolers who are still watching after I asked you to leave. So, the rest of this, I'm just going to talk about this game, but that's the basic concept of I can do it better. For future videos, we're going to go into more depth of games that have more components that could be changed. But until then, we're just going to keep playing this game. And Fuzz, I will take you down! Ha! You're gone, you son of a biscuit! Apart from that, you just get to hear Solomon rambling for the rest of this thing. If you wanted me to shut up, well, I got an infant dab for you. Because screw off. Another part we're going to see is that this game has no fanfare when you win. It expects you to like feel good because you just won and that was the experience that you're supposed to have. But that's not enough. We need some form of like fireworks or, I don't know, someone saying good job. Well, they say we win. So I take that back. I need a reward. I need incentive. They don't give me that. And so screw them. My entitlement knows no bounds. I am of the millennial race. I wonder how all that yelling works in this microphone. I haven't really tried it. All I can say is you probably hear a lot of my click-clacking away with the controller. So I apologize for that. If it's meditative, I'm glad. Just think of it like the applause at a poetry slam. I'm just continually snapping my fingers in a very, very quiet way with no rhythm whatsoever. And leave me alone, box. This stage is unique that if you die off screen, if you fall down one of those conveyor belts, you come back as a box. And so this is the time where everyone can use the whole 7 memes and be like, what's in the box? And it's people. People are in the box. So we don't need to go along any confusion right there. You don't need to know what's in the box, I told you. Spoilers. Oh, don't become a box yourself, Solomon. You're too good for this world. Are you still there? I expected at this point that you'd probably leave. I'm honestly surprised you got past the hello there. But thank you for staying. I get lonely when I play. I only have player 2 to keep me company, and oh my god, let me tell you, it is a quiet world with her just smirking beside me. Now she's probably glaring at me because I'm not supposed to talk about her. She's stated this specifically before, but I have a problem with respect. I don't like giving it, but I want it in return. I should definitely not have children. Not only for the respect thing, but you know, the whole thing that my progeny would probably defile the world too. So, multiple reasons. We'll keep a list. Are you guys okay? Are you just gonna stay there? Fuzzy, what are you doing to that guy? Muscles! Bow! Oh no, don't take me away! Okay, well, let's take this matter in my own hands. Oh, there's 2 of you. I forgot about that. I don't want to be part of this party. You guys ganged up on me. I will stay on these boxes and infinitely dab as the sudden death rolls on. Look at me work up a sweat. Will I live? Will they die? Let's find out. Should probably work harder because Mr. Fuzzy's getting close to winning. Get back here. I will kill you. Oh no. Oh, he died first. I am white. Both in real life and in the game. I don't know if you could tell that from my deep, silky voice, but that is me. Oh, this may be the last stage. After a while, you come to realize that you probably don't want as many stages because that means the game goes longer. But then again, you don't have to select all the stages either. No, do not feed me. Oh no, goodbye everyone. Good job, Mr. Bone. Zobogo. Do I win? Is that it?
Solomon wins! Ha ha ha! Yay!
Okay. Do I get to fight a character? Nothing. Well, folks, I don't know if you're as disappointed as me, but that's the video. I appreciate your support and your continued listening, if you're there. And well, bye.